Hello, everyone. I hope you are doing well, staying safe. It's the last day of the year. 2020, as we know, has been ups and downs. Most of the time, it's been down for most of us. But here we are, we've seen it through. And again, I would like to say that if you're watching this video, uh, you're guaranteed to have all of your problems resolved. 2021 would be a very, very nice year, wonderful for you and your family. So you'd have my blessings and the blessings of the universe, God, um, and to fulfill your objective. I mean, there must be a reason why you have been put on this planet at this particular time, and you will survive and you will thrive from henceforth. Anyway, I thought that I would end the year by talking about a very interesting topic. Many of my clients have asked me if astrologically it is possible to ascertain if you could strike the lottery, whether you could win the lottery or gambling or make some profit through a share market, properties. Yeah, so you have to understand this kind of income, wealth generating mechanism is minimal amount of work, as in minimal input, with a maximum amount of output. So that kind of income, sudden wealth, sudden fortune, is different from fortune that you make through business or through your employment, which would take years and years of effort. You have to grow yourself. I'm talking about contrasting with wealth accumulated over time. Lottery kind of wealth, as you know, it happens suddenly, and most of the time, 99% of the time, happens only once. Meaning that if you were to strike the lottery today, and if you were to win a substantial amount of income, let's say $10 million, right? So it's only going to happen once in your lifetime. There are exceptions to the rule. I understand that there have been certain individuals who have struck lottery like twice in their lives, and spanning like 18 to 20 years in between the first lottery winning and the second, but that is like 1 in a billion kind of a ratio. But here, how do you strike a lottery, and what is the astrological configuration for that? Well, there are 3 planets that would need to be in the proper placement, and the period of those planets must happen. What are those 3 planets? They are Rahu is the most important, Jupiter or Guru, and you have the third one is Sunny, Saturn. These 3 planets need to play a role in your chart. As you can imagine, 3 planets to be placed in the right kind of position, and with the subsequent periods like Dasa, Bhukti, Antharam. So you have the main period is Dasa, sub period to that is Bhukti, and you have the Antharam, the sub period. All 3 have to do with either or, all of them. Rahu, Sunny, and Jupiter, Guru. So which house plays the role for that? 8th house, which is kind of the Dustana houses, the negative houses. As you know, I've spoken about 6, 8, and 12. Those houses are the Dustana houses, the houses that have been placed to bring you bad luck, to bring you misfortune, illness, disease, enemies, debt. Debt as in debt with a bank, or you took a bank loan, or you owe someone money, that kind of debt. And depending on the placement of either positive or negative planets in the 8th house, right? So how much of illness or how bad your debt is, or how many enemies you would have, whether the enemies are within your family or extended family or through friends, or maybe political rivalry, if you have that kind of political affiliations, all of this is linked to the eighth house. Eighth house is a negative house, but why is it linked to striking a lottery? Isn't that a positive thing? No, it is not. And the reason for that is you would have to go back several thousand years to a time when astrology, Vedic astrology, was actually being constructed, when the craft was being made, about, I would say, 3,000 years ago in most likely northern India. What happened then? You have to remember that wealth wasn't the pursuit of the citizens and of people 3,000 years ago. No. In fact, astrology, Vedic astrology, wasn't built for accumulation of wealth, for going overseas, for postgraduate studies, for getting married. And if you happen to have a divorce in your first marriage, some of them ask me, is there a second marriage for them? So all this is new age problems, new age affiliations in the chart, in your birth chart, which we can see. Astrology is going to be relevant for as long as there is of mankind in this world. So it'll change it. About 2,000 years from today, whatever our pursuit of the day is going to be, Vedic astrology can be adapted to ascertaining or trying to forecast your kind of lifestyle at that time, 2,000 years from now. But 3,000 years ago, as in, I would say it's about 1,000 BC. So what was the pursuit? Divine search, spiritual search, whether you're going to leave your family and, go into the pilgrimage route, right? Sannyasi route. Being a parent in those days, they would most likely see if their child, whether it's a male or a female child, is going to get married, whether the property will stay within the family, lifeline, right, of the spouse, lifeline of their own children or child whose life they are talking about. So those kind of pursuits, those kind of challenges was what was going on. So let's talk about lottery. What does it mean? Lottery, how do you win a lottery? You buy something for $1, which is the lottery ticket, $1, $5, $10, whatever it is, minimal amount of expenditure. So the input is minimal. And how does it actually transpire? Well, maybe 1 million people have to buy that lottery. Million, maybe 10 million. So the lottery company would pool about maybe $25 million. So there's a pool of money accumulated through a large volume of people buying it. And then what happens? So in essence, this is other people's money. It's not yours. You did spend the $10. I'm not saying no, but the bulk of it is income through other people's wealth, if you can see it that way. And this is not favorable. Remember, 3,000 years ago, people were trying to live a very honest life, dharmic life. The key word here is dharma. So you do the right thing at the right time, and you follow the path of dharma. So that was how the chart, Rasi chart, the Navamsa chart has been built. So living off other people's wealth, other people's income was not favorable, was not the pursuit of the day. So it is thrown into the 8th house, Dusthana house, that it is a negative thing. We don't want that. So, and in fact, 3,000 years ago, there was no lottery, but there was sudden income in the sense of maybe you could find a treasure or a pot of gold that has been sealed underground or in a vault, or you were digging your agricultural farm and you happen to see a pot of gold. Yes, these are sudden wealth. Same principle as in lottery. You do not know who put the pot of gold there, but you are happy to take it. Again, it was different than you would have most likely tried to find the owner, and you spent a year and a half, and after that, no one came forward to claim the pot of gold, and so you kept it. Maybe you used half of it. Again, it's all speculating. Then speculating now, as in lottery. So eighth house. So, but the eighth house has to be positive, has to have positive energies. That's where Guru has to have some kind of affiliation with the eighth house. It has to be either the owner of the eighth house or the occupant of the eighth house. And the eighth house Dasa has to happen. Guru is most likely the one that is supposed to be linked with the eighth house rather than Sani or Rahu. Rahu, as I've mentioned, is the most important because Rahu, what is the significance of Rahu? Rahu is the magnifier. Remember, Rahu is not a planet. It's an illusionary point in the sky. The other side is Ketu. So they are the transacting point between Suryan and Chandran, the sun and the moon. So it's an illusionary point. So what can be illusionary for Rahu? Fear. Fear is not real. It's just your manifestation of the mind. It's an illusion. Dreams, as in, oh, how nice it would be if I were to strike the lottery. Rahu gives you that kind of feeling. Daydreaming. Things which is not there. Fear of tomorrow, fear of how your child is going to live their life. That may be 10, 15, 20 years down the line, but the fear is real for you today. I mean, the fear is real, but where is the fear? It's in your mind. You can't even manifest it out. So Rahu does that. And Rahu is an illusion. His representation is like a smoke. So he fills up the room. Imagine if you were to perform a yagna or a prayer. You bought a new house and you do a prayer with the priest, and then they do the yagna. And how do you feel after 10 minutes? After the fire has been, the flame has been lit up, the entire house is smoky. Rahu's representation, he takes up the entire space of the surrounding. So he's illusion, he is smoke, he is a magnifier. He magnifies things. Remember, lottery is magnified wealth, happens once. $10 is your input, 10 million is your output if you were to strike it. So Rahu has to magnify that. He has to have some affiliation with Guru and the 8th house. Next comes Sani. Sani has to do something with the 5th house. Sani in the 5th house represents following, crowd, the public, right? Mass gathering of people, stadium full of people, like rock concert, yeah, A.R. Rahman concert represented Saniswaran in the 5th house, right? Again, many people have to be involved in the lottery enterprise, right? 15 million people buys a $1 worth of lottery tickets. The jackpot winner gets like 10 million. So the company keeps like $5 million, right? So it has to involve a large gathering of people. So again, 8th house is important. Jupiter, Rahu, Saturn has to have affiliations with the 8th house. Rahu can have affiliations with the 12th house. Rahu kind of likes the 8th house and the 12th house. Remember, there are 3 Dusthana houses. 6, 8, 12. 8 and 12 is the 2 out of 3. 12th house, we call it the moksha house, right? Like I said, your lagna, first house represents your head, the topmost part of your body. You're going down, second is your throat area, third is your chest area, and you're going down. 12th is your feet. Rahu kind of likes that, right? That is the only point of your body that is in constant contact with the earth. Remember, you have to have a good pair of shoes, a good pair of feet to constantly touch Bhuma Devi, or the goddess Earth. Bhuma Devi is another illusionary goddess for us. For the Hindu doctrine, we do not think of her as a goddess, as a deity, but she is there. Just like how Rahu is the most real illusion for all mankind. Why? Because only humans are able to daydream, fantasize about the future, also have fear for the future. So Rahu kind of likes the 12th house, 8th house linkage, so to speak. So you need to have all this that I spoke about. Sixth house, not really. 6th house is more for disease and death and enemies. 8th house is the one for lottery. 12th house only for Rahu, right? So Rahu can sit in the 12th house, can have a drishti of the 12th house or the 8th house, right? But the most important is the Dasa, Bhukti Antharam, the main period, sub-period, sub-sub-period of the 3 planets, Rahu, Jupiter, Saturn, has to happen, right? Only at that time when this period is happening that you go and buy a lottery ticket, would it work? How much is the jackpot you're going to win? Well, you have to go deep into the analysis. You have to look at, maybe if you are above 32 years old, you have to look at the Navamsa chart. Why after 32? Well, there is it's an in-depth analysis. I would have to create another video for that. Why Navamsa charts only kick in for certain aspects of an individual after 32 years of age. Right, so that is all from me at this point of time. Again, I think this would be my last video of the year 2020. And yeah, so please feel free to look at your own charts if you have this kind of configuration. Or if you would like me to have a look at it, please reach out to me. Happy to do that for you. And I wish you all a lovely year coming up, right? And I hope that you have your own enterprise, your own endeavors lined up, and you would strive to work towards it. And I wish you all the very best of happiness, wealth, joy, and health. God bless and stay safe, everyone. Take care. And happy 2021.